Alright, General Electric GP9 Locomotive Operating Manual, Section 6, Steam Generator Model OK4625. Introduction. Instructions contained within the section of the guide for the personnel and gave the operation of the model OK4625 Steam Generator with the general description of the steam generator, give the operation technique with the outline troubleshooting section, provide with the operator the symbol number after each device mentioned for the text, refer to the schematic operating chart with the end of the text with the numbers, or even the facility identification various devices. Chart of the various control of the device at OK4625 Steam Generator outlines the fuel, the water, steam, the description. Operation complete with the automatic after the steam of the generator. Start with the full operating steam pressure for the breach for the few minutes. The steam generator part with the unit include with the shovel. Start with the cold water tube and connect with the tube with the form in a single tube. The shovel 100 feet long, feeding water after passing through with the heat exchange with the go through with the economizer coil from there to the main coil of the steam generator. As the water progresses, the coil is converted into the steam and the heat is transferred for the combustion of the diesel fuel oil, which is sprayed with the compressed air through the atomizer and show the Vapors Clarkson steam generator OK46525. From the nozzle of the fuel spray with the head of the 105 with the fire pot with the coil of the air valve with the oil spray mixed with the air spray and the blower 202 with the ignited valve with the continuous electrical spark to 220. Hot gas flows with the first downward, upward, and outward through the coils valve that fills with the flowing out with the stack. Supply with the fuel regulated evaporate with approximately 9% of the water pumped through the coil with the cuff of the water flush of the tail with the sledge from the coil and carried out through the steam and into the steam separated at 221. The water sledge there separated within the steam, except for the water collected at the bottom of the steam separated water above the level of the return. The outflow flows through the steam and the trap of the 223 with through the heat exchange of the 213, which give it up the heat of the incoming feed water from the heat exchange with the return water from the return water flow and indicator 218 with back to the water supply 232. Motor converter 215 drive with the blower 202 with the water pump 230 with the fuel pump 209 constant speed water bypass regular 111 automatically control the steam generator output with the regulating amount water feed through the to the coil before entering the coil with the water passes through the servo fuel control 108 which emits fuel to spray the nozzle with the direction proportion of the amount with the water entering the coil with the servo fuel with the control and adjusted the damper 203 minute proper amount with the air from the proper combustion of the fuel. Training line steam pressure regulated by the adjusting settling with the water bypass regulator 111 the length of the train and the weather condition to determine the setting. Before starting the valve, the designated with the odd numbers must be opened during the normal operation. Steam generator valve during the even number must be closed. During the normal operation, steam generator with the normal open valve fitted with the cross type hand. Normally open valves are fitted with the cross type handles. Normally closed valves are fitted with the standard round handle. So your closed valves are round and your open valves are X's. Make certain the following: the valves are open and atomizing air shut valve with one cool foot shut valve with the between return water outlet valve with the train line crossover with the valve with 11, steam in the mission valve with 13, water pass valve with 11, through waterway wash valve with 17, water bypass regulator shut valve with 19, water supply stop valve with 21. Be sure that the valve with the valves closed, connect closed, coil blown down on 2 with the layover connection shut with valve 6, manual water bypass valve 8, return line valve with standby 56, steam in the mission valve with 10 for the radiation of 217 open in cold weather operation washout inlet valve 4 is 16 water pump testing valve 18 and water drain valve 20 and 22 with both overload reset 106 switch stack switch 109 reset button must be in overload resetting button located with the magnetic overload figure 563. Hard to fill. Open the atomizer air shut valve 1. Fill tap of the valve with the black with the open separator below the valve 12 with the drain steam separator close with the separator blow down valve. When separator is completely drained, with the close of the main switch, if drained with the control switch 1 on 2 with the fill. When the coil with the filling, see with the spark with the 220 is available to ignite. Close the all valve with 1 and water discharge with the fill test valve with the 4 with the turn with the control switch 1 on 2 with the off. Close the fill test valve. Note that if the coils are empty, it will take about 5 minutes to fill with the steam generator with water to start. Caution: do not start with the steam generator unless the coils are filled. Latch open with the separator with the blow down valve 12 with the turn with the control valve switch 1 on 2 with the run for either start with the control switch has been off long enough for the motor to come to a full stop. Close the separator blow down valve 12 with the wind the generator steam pressure for the gauge 212 with the register with approximately 150 pounds. 3. Open the separator blow down valve several times with the 3-5 second intervals during the first few minutes for the operation. 4. Set up the water bypass regulator 111 the figure 64 with the be regulated with the train pressure 5. Have the train coupled with the remote with the control line shut off the valve 7. And would it be depressing the reset with the lever with the 7 and 8 the show with the opening with the train stop with the shutting of the valve 15. Note, check with the return water flow indicator with the 218 with the figure 6 valve. After the steam generator has settled down, let's say the output of it should be cycled from 4 to 12 times. 2, if the steam generator does not start with the function properly, check with all the valves, see if they are open and closed with the indicator of the operation chart. 3, steam generator comes up to the full operating pressure in 2 to 3 minutes. It may take 10 to 15 minutes to build with the required operating steam pressure of the train line, depending on the train length of the condition of the train line. And then you have 6.4 is the water bypass regulator, and 6.5 is the return water flow indicator. Standby heating. Standby heating is applied with locomotive to prevent freeze up of the steam generator with the water with the supply tank. But at the time the steam generator does not recover to make steam and breathe generator operate with the amount of the fuel sufficient for the heat with the water, but not to make the steam circulate with the hot water through the generator and supply with the tank. When a control switch for the standby with the operate with the low fire with the control under the control of the aquastat, with which full circulation of the water through the coil cycling on water temperature drops 100 degrees Fahrenheit with the cycling off 135 degrees Fahrenheit during the off cycle with the warm water circulated through the system of a small circulating pipe. Pump low fire operation standby with the obtained through the automatic burner with adjusting control of the three-way cylinder valve of the burner, control of the spring load with the hydraulic piston mechanism with control of the position of the metering pin and the servo during the normal operation. Fuel pressure again for this position, the hold of the metering pin up the operating condition. On standby solenoid valve relieves of the fuel pressure from the piston, spring tension for the force of the piston down with the holes of the metering pin below with the normal operating position. The chamber the delivery ratio of the water fuel of the combustion air with the maximum water flow is obtained with the air and fuel flow into the control combustion chamber to do with the low fire proportions. Your standby operation set with the water bypass regulator 111 the maximum pressure flow with the top check valve 15. 3. Check the closed steam line train pressure gauge valve 11. 4. Open the standby return line valve 56 with the located with the top of the steam is separated below the stop check valve 115 figure 6.6. 5. Open the radiating heat valve 10 with the layover connection shaft valve 6 with the allow the heated water to flow through the protective heating system. 6. Turn the control switch 1 and 2 with the standby position. 2. With the return normal operating condition operation. 1. Close standby return line valve 56 with the radiating heat valve 10. Opening with the cold weather operation layer with the connection shut off valve 6 with the open and separated foot valve with the drain excessive water from boiler coolers. The following with the normal procedure for firing of the boiler plate with the control switch and run position of steam pressure reaching 550 psi. Close the separator foot valve with the open and step stop check valve 115. Set water bypass regulator to desired pressure. Open steam train line pressure gauge 11 valve 11. Alright, running attention. Open the cellular blowdown valve 12 at least once every hour, except with the standby operation. If the frequent blowdowns will reduce the tendency for the sludge to accumulate. 2. Turn the handle of the fuel filter 206 figure 6.7 during stops. At the same time, turn the handle of the treatment injector filter 225, which reads where this method of water treatment is used. Caution: train line remote control of valve 7 when used and or stop or check with valve 15 must be closed when shutting off the train line steam. Section 6.7 says suction line fuel filter to shut down the steam generator. For a short step to only necessary the code of the top check valve 15 first close cycle with a maintaining operating pressure of the steam generator for the terminal stop of the valve to proceed with the valves. Close the stop check with the valve 15. Remove the control on the train line. Shut off valve 7 if used. Set the water bypass regulator 111 the maximum output. 1 the steam generator pressure for the gauge of 212 the registers 200 pounds. Turn the control switch 102 with the off. 3. Open the coil blowdown valve 2 figure 6.8. Figure 6.8 show the coil blowdown valve 2. When the generator pressure drops below 75 pounds, close the open valve. Open the separator blowdown valve 12. Blow down the steam separator 221. Remaining pressure fill the coils with water according to the procedure given on page 604. Exemption of the will be defined with advantage of the fill hot steam generator with the separated blowdown valve with the latch opening, thereby purging the coil while also eliminating the discharge steam in the fill test valve. Close the atomizer air shut valve and open the main switch. Layover operation. Open steam and emission valve with radiation 10. Open and layer connection with the shut valve 6. When starting do not omit draining of the steam separator. Opening the fill test valve again filling the steam generator with water. If the coils are already full, it will only take a moment of the water to discharge the fill test valve. Reaching weather precautions. Inlet valve 10 with the radiation 217 should be opened with operating during severe weather. If the locomotive does not have all the steam generators, the operation will open the layover connection shuts off valve 6 for the train pressure gauge, the steam of the mission, valve 11, and then valve 10 for the radiation ideal steam generator. Be sure the coil blower down. Valve 2, stop check, valve 15 are closed. If the locomotive is left standing out of the trip of the operator, once of the steam generator, make for the connection of the yard steam line. If no steam is available through the drain steam generator with the drain valve 20 and 22 for the water pump, test 18 for the coil blow down valve 2, for the separator blow down valve 12, coil shut off valve 3 for the brake pipe connections were necessary for the complete with the drain pipe with the turn water pump, the hand clear in the of the water, or blow it out with the compressor, have to remove the cover with the water treatment and water stream in the tank 234, make sure the drain. Troubleshooting. If the one with the protective switch is magnetic overload, relay, coil blow down switch or stack switch, operator with the shutdown with steam generator alarm will ring the green boiler off signal light, and turn the controller switch 102 for the off, with the following instruction guide locating the trouble. Motor burn down, shut down during operation. Blown fuse of the alarm will not ring with the instrument lights will go out with the main fuse of the circuit breaker with the general located with the electrical cabinet locomotive with the check for the fuse, the check for the control fuse with the steam generator control cabinet, test lamp, and infuse clips wire with the include the inside of the electrical cabinet may be used with the check with the fuse. Overload reset button 106 out. The alarm will ring with the instrument light will be remain on the turning control switch 102 the off. Check the hot blower 202 with the water pump 230 with the bearings poorly adjust the pulley belt with the check with the setting of the belt tension adjust to push the overload reset button in. Your stack switch 109 figure 69 reset button out with the stack switch for the high temperature for the contact for the open of the alarm ring bell with the instrument lights remain on. Turn control switch 102 with the off and separate blowdown valve 12 of the drain steam temp separator. Pushing stack switch reset button open the fill test valve 4 return and turn the control switch to fill when the water discharges from the fill test valve. Turn the control switch to off close. Fill test valve start the steam generator as usual. 4. Coil blowdown valve with the partially open with the alarm ring for the instrumental light with the remains on with the turn control switch off with the B-shift with the coil blowdown valve with the handles properly received with the enclosed position start as usual. Here, switch 101 contacts over the alarm sound with the instrument lights to remain on with this alarm. Thus determine the control switch off with the B-shift with the air emission valve. 1 is fully open. Clean the stream of the airliner. Drain the air pressure regulator 100. If the low atomizing air pressure persists, increase the pressure by turning the regulator, adjusting screw it. Clockwise, but the air pressure restored with the starts as usual. Motor starts but burns out. Burner does not. If the fire fails to light with the low temperature contact with the stack switch 109 will not close after the 45-second time delay with the outer fire will open. The circuit will shut down the steam generator with the alarm will ring and the instrument light will remain on. Turn control switch 102 with the off. Check with the following instruction for the possible call for the burner failure. Ignition failure with the turn the control switch to fill. No spark visible through the peephole of the glass with the low intensity of the ignition fuse with the bone with the current flow was broken. Any of the reason the ignition circuit that was inoperable to spread with the plug electrode with the during too far apart with if the electrodes are too close together the ignition circuit will not operate properly. Check with the ignition fuse with the tap of the lamp and clip itself with the electrical cabinet for the purpose of the tighten loose cam connection the replace shaft broken wire which may break in or ground circuit with low atomizing air pressure 201. Air switch 101 open the brake circuit with the fuel solenoid valve 104 when stop the fuel flow with the spray head 105. Be sure the admission valve with the emission valve is wholly open and clean with the train screen with the atomizing airline with the pressure atomizing air pressure regulator 100. Low atomizing air pressure persists with the tightening with adjusting screw with the top air pressure regulator with the increase with the atomizing pressure. Low fuel manifold pressure 208. Turn on the handle of the suction line fuel filter 206 several times. Slight suction leak may cause the manifold pressure to build up slowly. Put in the control switch 102 with the fill with the bleeding fuel line. Bring manifold pressure to normal. Low fuel nozzle pressure 207. The lack of the water call for the turbo fuel control 108. Limit supply of the fuel entering the nozzle if the water supply is almost completely stop the cam plate may be down far enough for the actuate cutoff switch of the turbo and close the fuel solenoid valve. Be sure the pump belts of the properly tensioned for the water pump test valve with the figure 8 valve 18 is closed with the cover with the water treatment is framed. The tank of the 234 is tight. 3-way washout valve 17 is full. Open and drain valve 20 and 22 are tightly closed. Open close with the water bypass regulator 111. Just handling several times the free with the regulator for possible sediment with the water pressure with the gauge with the 229 is still registered low and close with the water bypass regulator shut off valve 19. Close the water with the bypass limit line performance all with the feed water with the flow with the turbo fuel controller 108. Steam generator will also start once the bypass regulator is causing the trouble to set manually regulate with the train line steam pressure by adjusting the manual water by bypass valve 8. Or your high feed water temperature leak water line with the connection make up with the water pump 2/3 to become the air and vapor bound with a violent fluctuation over the water pressure gauge the needle indicator the condition tightening the leaking water line connection of the bleed line opening with the water pump test valve 18 allowing water to flow through the valve will not air the vapor of the bubbles evident in the water. Alright, irregular train press the burn cycle is off and on with the insufficient water delivered to cover the steam jump of the run and superheat the steam temperature for the limited with the control of the 110 operated with the protect the coil against the overheating trick with the water pump output is instructed with the preceding paragraphs. Alright, safety valve below the shutting down the steam jam of the lower train pressure for the setting with adjusting with the handle with the water bypass regulator 111 the start of the steam generator again. If the safety valve 107 continues to pop flow with the water bypass regulator shut off valve 119 and manually regulate with the train line steam pressure by opening adjusting manual water bypass valve 8. Items to report water pressure greater than 100 pounds above normal except for the stack temperature fluctuation of field manifold pressure frequent cycling of the burner water flow indicator of the not cycling water bypass regulator inoperative, any faulty operation of the steam generator. And then it goes into some charts. The steam generator, a small troubleshooting chart, which I'm going to skip. Your locomotive diagrams, electrical diagrams, and this was the diesel locomotive operating manual number 2318 for the model GP9 with vapor car steam generator, January 1954, Electric Motor Division, General Motors Corporation, LaGrange, Illinois, USA.